king, I am not a god, I am Hump.
What's good, Tano? Today's video is about the new Spider Warframe Oraxia, built to take down level 9999 skill path enemies in Warframe, and you know what? She's capable of taking down level cap only with her abilities. First thing first, let me show you the gameplay and I come back to you with the build. Let's go. And now that's a spider. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel, as 79.9% of you watching and not subscribed. Thank you so much in advance for your support. As always, before I build my weapons and my warframes, I rely on my method called DVS. D how will be dealing damage, V how will proc 10 stacks of viral, as every enemy in the game has HP, S for stripping enemies armor. We don't care about armor, we care about the damage reduction, and by loading that, we deal higher damage. And of course, if you don't like my methods, you can find your own style with this shit right here. As in Warframe, you can do things in many different ways, but the result's always the same. And please stick to the community guideline what to do, not to do in the comment section below to keep it a constructive feedback so everyone learn something here and there. Now, remember we take things to level cap, not as a show off, but actually for a reason. Now, when you take a full meta, it's of course easy and it doesn't really matter. But we take weapons to level cap because enemies at level cap, they have their EHP at maximum. Because enemies by level, they get an increase of HP, shield, and overguard. At the highest level, the highest EHP. And that's where we test and showcase the weapons. And at level cap as well, enemies get increase of damage output, and that's where we test the Warframe's survivability. Keep that in mind. Now, remember that in Warframe, there is something called shield gating. You hear a lot of Thanos talking about it. I'm going to take a second to explain it for you. In Warframe, when you receive a fatal blow, you don't die. You lose your shield first, you enter gate phase. Gate phase, you become invulnerable, means you don't die for a certain duration based on how much shields you have. 1150, 2.5 second shield capped at that, except Hildren goes for 3.5 seconds and his teammates. Now, one more thing you need to learn about shields, no one tells you that when you lose portion of your shields, you need 1 second to start regenerating shields, and if you lose all your shield, you need 4 seconds to start regenerating your shield. Keep that in mind. Now, how to gate actually? By using abilities or mods. Abilities, for example, like Pillage, Condemn, and so on to give you shields, or you use, for example, mods like Brief Respite or Ogre mods. The idea of gating is simple: get back your shield before the gate duration and vulnerability ends, so you get blow to your HP and then you'll be dead. Simple as that. And starting as always with Oraxia Kit for Thanos to learn about her kit. Passive. Wall latching gives you 8 seconds of invisibility. Look at that. Boom. and you can refresh it as much as you want. Now, first ability, Mercy Kiss. You hit an enemies with toxin damage, and the enemies that dies with this ability will have a chance to drop health orbs and energy orbs. And guess what? This ability, when enemies reach certain amount of HP, you can actually one-shot them. It doesn't matter what level they are, level cap or level beyond cap. Look, boom, dead. They would have a mark on top of their head. Boom, dead. Very powerful stuff. Now, the second ability, the Webbed Embrace. Now, when you use this ability, you're gonna put enemies into cocoon, like ensnaring them, like so, and they become vulnerable to more damage. Amazing, right? Now, the third ability is really simple. Widow's Brood. When you hit enemies with this ability and you kill them, enemies that are affected by this ability, you kill them, you will summon spiders. Boom. You see these guys? They're really nasty little fellows, and they're really powerful. You can summon, sadly, only 10 of them, but they're really nice and powerful, and they proc toxin as well. I'm very curious one day if they have like an augment, what will it be? Silken Stride. You become a spider, and if you shift, now, first thing you will see that you have 86% damage in here, but when you latch in wall, you have more damage, and you become invisible as well, and you can do that for free without any energy consumption. Look at that. Easy as that. But the consumption of energy is how long you've been on the fourth ability per second, not the consumption of leaping from wall to wall. And also, this will enhance your toxin and imbue your secondary or primary weapon with toxin-free damage. Look at that. Look, even if you don't have a weapon with toxin, you'll start hitting enemies with toxin, no problem. Very, very, very powerful ability. Now, how to play her? Pretty simple and easy. First thing you want to do is latch into a wall to become invisible. Next, you want to CC enemies with your cocoon. You can summon 3, so you can go like 1 here, 1 there, 1 there. So enemies are vulnerable to your damage. And keep latching, of course. Now, the third ability, so when you kill those enemies, you summon your spiders. And then you hit enemies, and the moment you see this mark right here, you just hit them and you get energy and so on, and that will come in handy later on when we have Arcane Energized equipped and so on. Now, if you plan on using a Helmith ability for her, I don't really recommend. Her kit is really powerful and amazing. She doesn't need any Helmith ability, but the only ability I would think I would change for a Helmith is Widow's Brood. Why? Because the first ability gives you energy and health, and the instant kill is just amazing and unique to her. And the Webbed Embrace makes enemy vulnerable to more damage. Who doesn't like damage? She comes free with it. And the Silken Stride gives you extra damage, and Wall Latch extra damage, gives you invisibility, latching from wall to wall. And Widow's Brood is just the spiders, and you can just sacrifice some spiders. And that's pretty much it. And now when it comes to the build, we start with the Archon shards. 2 Emerald Archon shards to push the stacks of Corrosive from 10 to 14. To armor strip enemies with a source of Corrosive. If you Helmith ability like Tempest Barrage. If it's, for example, a primary or secondary weapon modded for Corrosive. And in our Oraxia case, her abilities proc Toxin. So if you use the Archon Continuity, actually we can proc Corrosive as well. Now, if you plan on using a Helmith ability like Terrify, Pillage, or Thorough Strike to armor strip enemies, or you Nairo Fox's School to armor strip enemies, you don't need the 2 Emerald Archon shards. Switch them for something else. How Corrosive actually works. 10 stacks equal to 80%. First stack will reduce enemies' armor by 26%. Every stack after will reduce enemies' armor by 6%. 14 stacks, 104%. 10 stacks, 80%. Now you can run 1 Tau Force, but that's 98%. And I can't identify which enemies stripped or not. And I like my things to be 100%. Now, here we got the ability strength, here we got casting speed, and here we got the toxin statue effect deals 45% more damage, and finally I start using these ones. Now, of course, you can go for full Tau Force, increase of toxin statue damage right here, and that's overkill in my opinion, and she doesn't really need it because the first ability actually will kill them even if she's unmodded. You get the point. So what you're doing is just increasing the rest of the toxin stacks in there. Now, the most amazing thing about Toxin is that it bypasses shields and hits enemies directly on their HP. Now, when it comes to her build, Brief Respite to shield gate. Every time screen glitches and shake, use an ability. My favorite ability is the third one, is the one you shield gate with. Simple as that. It will consume some of the energy when you cast an ability and convert it into some shields. Stretch for more range, especially for the webbed embrace for more CC. Ogre message for duration and more shield gating. Archon continuity for toxin stance will also apply corrosive static effects. Rolling, and actually the third ability is the best on proccing Archon continuity. Rolling guard for bad situations, Ambulant Testify for strength, Private Flow for energy max, Transfer Speed for strength and minus duration, Equilibrium pickup gives energy, energy pickups gives health, and thanks to the first ability, we don't care what we're picking, energy or health, we're just going ahead and Equilibrium will keep us always at 100% of our energy, and energy is critical, especially at level cap. And in, for example, Void Cascade, after the Exolizer 50, it's really get tough, and enemies at level cap, they drop less energy nowadays, even with high density. Arcane Energize for energy, Arcane Crepuscular, while Invisible gain 30% ability strength, and 3 times final critical damage. Now, of course, if you are uncomfortable with Arcane Energize, Arcane Arachne is the best to put in there, because she's latching most of the time in the walls, and you're gonna get extra free damage. Now, if you notice here, I left the Exhaust slot empty for you to choose whatever you want. You don't need Premature Footed, honestly, unless you're taking off the Silken Stride. If you remove Silken Stride, yes, go ahead and equip Premature Footed. Otherwise, run some range or some strength in here, and you'll be good to go. Now, I used Madurai on the run that you saw. My amp is 177, Raplex Prism from Cetus, Certus Brace and Proper Scaffold from Fortuna. I used Eternal Enslaut and Eternal Eradicate Arcanes. And for my operator, I used the Arcane Magus Lockdown and Magus Elevate, I believe. Now, this is my companion build. Cordon to pull enemies, Duplex for the clone, Assault to attack, Vacuum for the loot, Manifold for more cordon, Shield, Armor, Health, Fire rate, and 120% critical damage. If my sentient weapon has 50% plus critical chance, I use the best sentient weapon in the game, in my opinion, Veriglass Prime, but you need a Riven with critical chance. Doesn't have to be the same Riven, it's the Riven with critical chance. Now, if you don't have Veriglass or you can't afford the Riven, it's okay. Private Razor Rifle, Volclock, or Burst Laser Prime, just with the CC mod, will reach Tenacious Bond requirement, and you'll be good to go. So now, if we use this build against this level 230 heavy corrupted gunners, in case you're new Tano and you're wondering how I can summon level 230, because I am Mastery 35 or Legendary 5, and the simulacrum enemy level you can spawn is affected based on what level you are, the Mastery. So, Latching, Cocoon, 1, 2, 3, you can just go 3 cocoons, third ability, so when we kill them, we can just get the spiders to spawn. And look at that. You see Nautilus what he did there? That's crazy, right? Go. Take them down. Boom. And they're just dead. Now, if we want to increase our damage even further, we can just go up there. And we just look at that. Isn't she crazy? And every time you see a marking on top of enemy's head, that means you can one-shot it. And that means that, like this, that means you will get your energy back 100% guaranteed. Meaning, because we have Equilibrium, we have Energize, everything, and so on and so on. Now, the way I did it at level cap and how I managed to kill them is simply by doing this. So I was like putting the cocoon in, right? Third ability always active, and I was spamming the cocoon and the first ability, and I prioritize the targets that it's marked. Okay, and then I was using Shadow here and there for the output and priming them. That now, of course, I'm not even like fully armor stripping them here and so on. We could go even more crazy, and that led to actually killing them. So with the help of these little guys and the toxin damage and the one shot from the first ability, we managed to just like take them off. And during the gameplay, what you saw was Corpus, and everything is toxin, and it was just crazy for them. And now when you look at that, my spider's wanting a screenshot. Cheese! And by this was the end, Tano. I would give this Warframe 7 out of 10. 100% worth it, and 100% you should try it. There is a lot of bugs concerning her, especially when you use the first ability on the Thrax. Before, like, when they have the markings, they will always, and permanently be on the ghost form, which wasn't funny and nice and gives me a little hard time on the level cap. Also, there is another bugs with the corner. When you just latching in small areas, she gets stuck in there, so you have to slash and stack. I faced some other visual bugs and some bugs that I had to actually die to fix. But overall, I know DE will fix them very soon as people start reporting and DE start to test this stuff and so on and so on. And I don't mind DE one day before releasing Warframe, give it to me, test it, and you don't have to give it to me for free. I'm just going to test it for you and give you all the bugs before you release the Warframe. Special thanks to everyone supporting me. Like, sub, more content that is coming. Join my Discord in the description, Hall of Members, special VIP, and Disputed Donators, Hall of Donation. Thank you so much for all your amazing support, and I will see you guys on the next video.